Hello everyone, sorry for the delay. Things have been a bit crazy since the Furling video, and then I tried that thing with Stargate Infinity, which clearly is not as popular as the Furling videos, so this week we're going to dive straight into talking about the Nox.
God, I love those people.
History. We only have a vague outline of the Nox's history. We know that they evolved on their homeworld, which in non-canon sources say is called Gaia, but it was designated by the Tari, aka humans from Earth, as P3X774. The next event we know about them is them becoming members of the Four Great Race Alliance. And after the alliance ended and the Goa'uld rose to power, the Nox stayed on their homeworld, though they probably never really traveled away from it to begin with. They would have to occasionally deal with raids from the Goa'uld who were looking for a creature called a Fenri that they thought could turn invisible. In actuality, it was the Nox doing this with their cloaking technology. This is how they met SG-1 when SG-1 came to find the Fenri, and instead found the system Lord Apophis. After a disastrous sneak attack, the Nox intervened and saved SG-1. Though due to a series of events involving the Nox's fanatic pacifism and SG-1 thinking they were primitives, the Nox made SG-1 leave, though not before revealing how advanced they were and leaving them with some advice.
Maybe one day you will learn that your way is not the only way.
Very young do not always do as they're told.
We sadly only saw the Nox twice after this. First, when SG-1 called them in order to save a group of Tolan from the NID, to which after this we knew that the Tolan and the Nox would keep in some contact and build some kind of relationship with each other. The second time was when the Nox sent a representative, Laia, to the Triad of Sakaar and Korel to act as an Archon. She would later help hide a Tolan ion cannon when the Goa'uld had destroyed the rest and were attempting to destroy the Tolan. After that, we don't really know what happened to the Nox. Given their cloaking technology, they most likely remain hidden during other threats to the Milky Way galaxy, such as the Replicators or the Ori. Biology. The Nox are very similar to humans in appearance, though there are notable differences between the two. Their skin has a grayish tint to it, and their hair is grass-like with what seems to be branches and leaves growing out of it. If this is a biological thing rather than an aesthetic one, it does imply the Nox may have evolved from plants, which would make sense given their peaceful nature, as usually in fiction, plant-based creatures tend to be a bit more peaceful. I did say usually. Nox can live to be very old. The oldest age we know a Nox to have obtained is 500 years old. Though an interesting thing to know about their aging is that their children will age at a quote-unquote normal rate until they hit the age of 18. At that point they will begin to age slower, and only until the last few centuries of their lives will they begin to show physical signs of aging. An interesting part of Nox biology is something called bioelectrical tuning. This is where Nox can tune into the bioelectrical fields of other beings, which allows them to read these beings. This, along with their heightened perception, allows them many abilities beyond that of humans, such as the ability to learn languages only after hearing them spoken for a short amount of time, a mild form of mind reading, and the ability to heal others. This healing ability even allows them to resurrect the recently dead, though this does interfere with their technology, specifically their cloaking technology. They also seem to have the ability to turn things invisible and intangible. I should take a moment to fix an error I made in the Furling's video. I said the Nox had teleportation technology. I assume that's what they're doing here, but apparently according to the wiki, this is just a power they have and is not a form of teleportation. Although in my defense, it is really hard to tell when the Nox are using their technology or their biology. Technology. The Nox are probably one of the most advanced races in the Milky Way galaxy. Their most notable achievement is their cloaking technology, which they use to hide themselves to avoid fighting. Some of their other technology includes their floating cities and the ability to open a Stargate without having to dial or having to create an unstable vortex, which is something we've only ever seen the Asgard do, but that does make sense since they were both in the Ancient Alliance. A point of interest is that the Nox helped the Tolan build a Stargate, one of the only Stargates in the franchise not built by the Ancients. The only other group I can think of who did this were the Ori with their super gates. Society. We don't really know that much about Nox society. We only really know that they live in tune with the forest and nature, and they see all life as precious. The reason they have floating cities is they did not want to disturb the natural beauty of their world. Though admittedly I am slightly confused on something, since I'm not entirely sure why some of them choose to live in the forest and some live in the cities. Maybe the group we saw were just on vacation? I don't really know. We also know they practice an extreme form of pacifism. They will never do anything to bring harm to another being, even if the being in question wishes them no goodwill. They also seem to be extremely isolationist, and they have a strict non-interference policy. Although they will step in if a fight happens on their own home worlds to save both parties. Relations with other races. The Nox would probably be in good relations with most other races, though most don't know of their existence since the Nox keep to themselves. While they probably had good relations with the other members of the Ancient Alliance, it's unknown if they still keep in contact with the Asgard or the Furlings. As for the Tari, it's a little difficult to tell. They seem to see the Tari as too young of a race to really work with. Though, personally I do think they seem to see the potential that the Asgard saw. They did have an interesting relationship with the Tolans though. As stated, they helped the Tolans build a new Stargate and did send a representative to the Triad. Though since the Tolan extinction, I'd imagine talks have gone quiet. Finally, while they probably would oppose threats such as the Ghoul, the Wraith, and Ori, they would never get involved as their pacifism forbids them from taking sides. Fun facts. The only real fun fact I can find on the Nox was there was once an evil Nox.
What? Evil!
All I said was that there was once an evil Nox.
Will you please stop saying that?
This was a special comic for a 2006 convention. I sadly couldn't find the comic itself, so all my information is coming off the wiki. This Nox, named Joanna, left her world in search of power. She came across a Ghoul and was later implanted with a Ghoul. Interestingly enough, she seemed to remain control over her body. As the wiki states, she actively gave the Ghoul Nox cloaking technology, and she seemed to speak about herself. The only other thing of note about her is she was black for some reason. As I said, I couldn't find the comic itself, so I couldn't really confirm if the other Nox were depicted as having other skin colors. The covers seem to show Nox with non-grayish skin colors, but I don't know if that's actually reflective of what the art inside the book is like. Joanna was captured by a joint effort between SG-1 and the Nox, ending with the Nox taking her back to her home planet to remove the parasite. And that was the Nox, a race I definitely wish we got to see more of. We definitely know more about them than the Furlings, but it feels like they were given less information than the Ancients and the Asgard. Definitely would have liked to see more of them throughout the series. I want to take this time to notify something. Originally I had planned to go over each member of the 4 Grey Race Alliance. However, I got this idea for a video about who would win a war between the Ashen and the Tolan, 2 of the most advanced human groups in the galaxy. So, next time I'm going to cover the Ashen, and then after that the Tolan, and then do the video about the war. I don't know if I'll ever come back to doing the Asgard and the Ancients respectively. I mean, there are plenty of videos online that already cover this, and I don't like redoing videos that other people have already done, so if there's demand, I'll do it, but until then, next week will be the Ashen.